Okay, now we're going to continue probability in statistics, and we're going to make our main focus today probability. The probability of something happening is the ratio. Remember, we talked about what a ratio is. If we're going 2 to 1, there's usually a colon between the 2 and the 1. We can also make it a fraction. So the probability of something happening is the ratio of the number of ways that it can successfully happen to the number of possible outcomes. So we're going to make this equation successes over possible outcomes. So remember, successes is usually going to be a smaller number or the same amount, okay? But it usually will not be more than the possible outcomes. The possible outcomes is how many times you're actually doing it. So the probability can be expressed by a percent or a fraction. I'd like you guys to make it a fraction and then turn it into a percent. But always be looking for what the question asks you. If it doesn't ask you, it's always safer, make it a fraction, then turn it into a percent. Okay, remember, if you have a fraction, you take that numerator and you drop it over, and then you divide. Okay, so the denominator goes into the numerator, and don't forget, we're going to have a decimal point, and we have to move that decimal point over 2 places to make it a percent. So a spinner is fair if it has equal possibilities for each possible outcome. Here's an example. Here's our spinner. There's a total of 5 possible outcomes. The question is, find the probability of spinning a 2. So there's only one 2 out of these 5 possible outcomes. So that would have to be a 1 out of 5. So only one space has a 2 on it. That's what we're trying to succeed in getting. And then our possible outcomes are all the numbers on the board, and there's a total of 5 numbers on the spinner. Example 2 focuses on the same spinner. And what is the probability of spinning an odd number? Well, odd numbers are 1, 3, and 5. The total possible options are 5 of them, so that will be the denominator, the lower number, while the odd numbers, which are 1, 3, and 5, are a total of 3 numbers. So this would be 3 over 5. And like I said before, we're going to turn that into a percent. So 3 over 5, if I divide, I drop the numerator down, 5 into 3, it would be 5 can't go into 3, so we'd have to put a decimal point and then bring down the 0. So that would be 5 into 30, but we put that decimal point there. So 6 times 5 equals 30, so it would be 0.6. But I'm not done. So I have to move the decimal over 2 places, going to the right, and that makes 60%. Now, what's the probability of spinning an even number? We have 2, 4, and that's it, out of 5. So the choices are, or the successes are only 2 options. Well, the possible outcomes are a total of 5. So this would be 2 over 5. And I'm going to divide 5 into 2. And that's going to give me a decimal of 0.4. And then I move the decimal place over 2 spots to make it a percent. Remember, percent, okay, out of 100. Okay, so 40% is 2 out of 5. Okay, I'm going to have you guys do this on your own. A number is chosen at random from 1 to 10. Find the probability of selecting a multiple of 2. Okay, so the first thing you can do is deduct what are the possible outcomes. That's the denominator. Okay, the possible outcomes would be what? That's correct. A total of 10 numbers. And what would be the successes? Multiples of 2. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And when I count those up, I have a total of 5 numbers. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 out of 10 total. Here's another practice I'd like you to try. A number is chosen at random from 1 to 25. Find the probability of selecting a prime number. Ooh, we learned about fractions, percentages this year. We also learned about prime numbers. Do you remember what a prime number is? What's our total number of possibilities, which is the denominator? Okay, 1 through 25, so 25. Now we have to figure out the prime numbers. Okay, remember, prime numbers are natural numbers greater than 1 that cannot be formed by multiplying two smaller natural numbers. Okay, so they cannot be formed by multiplying the two smaller natural numbers. So 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, and 23 cannot be formed by multiplication of two other numbers. So we have a total of 9 of these. So 9 out of 25 would be my answer. Okay. Now I can also go ahead and turn that into a percentage. Okay, and you can do that on your own. And here's another practice. A number is chosen at random from 1 to 25. Find the probability of selecting an even number. Okay, so our denominator, 25, even numbers, well, you're going to have to count 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, and 24. Okay, so there's a total of 12 of those out of 25. As we start section 1 and 2, that were a little difficult. I think section 3 is pretty easy, but we aren't going to end there. We're going to talk about one more thing, and that is reliability. Reliability is the reverse. Ooh, we have to complicate things, huh? Reliability is the reverse of the probability of failure. So, talking about successes. If the probability that a part will fail is 3%, then the reliability is the opposite of that, the other half, 97%. Every component of a system must be reliable in order for that system to function efficiently or succeed. So let's look at an example. If the probability of failure on a test is 40%, okay, then what is the probability of success? Okay, that would be the other half. That would be 60%.